All right, ladies and gentlemen, part of me is really excited for today's video, and the other part of me, my more feminine side, I guess, is dreading it because we got some big boys out here to compare today. So my wrist is definitely gonna hate me after this one. But we have the 10mm automatic pistol. This is the Glock 20. You guys have been harassing me forever to get one of these, so you can stop now. We got one, and we're gonna compare it to the 44 Magnum. This is the Taurus 444 ultralight 44 Magnum that we have shot a couple times on the channel already. Both of these guns are courtesy of Turtle Lake Tactical. So as always, I want to thank them for providing these cannons that we get to shoot today, because without them, we wouldn't get to make this video. So visit the website and help me thank them. So spoiler alert, right out of the gate, the obvious winner in terms of pound for pound power is definitely the 44 Magnum. It's just overall typically a more powerful round. Although they do offer similar bullet weights in each of these calibers, the 44 Magnum is usually going to be going quite a bit faster and just delivering more foot-pounds of energy on the target. So just to give you guys an idea of what these rounds look like side by side, the 10mm is obviously the one on top, and the 44 Magnum is that monster on bottom. Obviously just a bigger, more powerful round. But where this gets interesting is the capacity of both of these guns and the recoil, and how many rounds are you actually able to effectively deliver on target. So the Glock 20 here holds 16 plus 1, meaning this gun holds 17 rounds of 10mm, whereas the 44 Magnum here holds 6. And generally speaking, 44 Magnum is a revolver cartridge unless you get something like a Desert Eagle or something like that, which I wouldn't really recommend for serious use, but they do hold more rounds. But typically, the 44 Magnum is a revolver cartridge, meaning the capacity will always be limited to around 5 or 6 rounds. And in terms of recoil, the recoil from this gun is absolutely insane. It is not a very fun gun to shoot. So with all that in mind, which of these two guns would actually be more effective? Let's find out. All right, we'll shoot the 10mm first. Not too bad. Obviously ammo is kind of hard to find right now, so I didn't fill the magazine up all the way, but I just noticed that this is actually 15 plus 1. I might have said 16 plus 1 in the intro, so just wanted to make that correction. But honestly, I don't think the recoil is that bad from the 10mm. I expected it to be a lot worse. So again, this is the Glock 20. It's a big old gun. I mean, this thing is thick with 2 C's. It's a lot thicker than the 9mm and the 40 caliber Glocks. I think it's the same size as the 45 caliber Glocks. So definitely a big gun, but I like it. Time to torture myself. I got these gloves on. I hope it don't fly out of my hand. The grip ain't that great. Oh yeah, just as bad as I remember. It just punches you in the hand so hard. Not a fun gun to shoot at all. I've shot other 44 Magnums, and this is by far the worst, but they all kick pretty hard. It's just a really powerful round. One thing I will say, I know Taurus isn't known for making like the highest quality guns or nothing, but the action on this gun sounds super clean. Let me see if you guys can hear this. Little revolver ASMR for you. Just super smooth. It might be the most satisfying sound in the gun world, right up there with racking an AK-47. So I actually have some ballistic gel melting at the house right now as we speak. So maybe in the next couple videos we'll do some gel tests, and I might chronograph some rounds and just get real nerdy for you guys. But today, it's strictly bro science. So I've got a paper bad guy right here, and I brought my shot timer out as well. And I think I want to try and dump both of these guns into this bad guy and see how much the recoil of the 44 Magnum will really slow me down. So I definitely don't claim to be an expert with revolvers. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments about what an idiot I am and how bad I suck with this thing. So I'm looking forward to that. But I got my shot timer on, and we are gonna start with the revolver, and I'm gonna try to make this just like if you were carrying it. So we're gonna shoot it in double action. When the beeper goes off, that's when we gotta shoot our paper bad guy. So double action sucks with this thing because the trigger is obviously a lot heavier, so the shots are even more unpredictable. So. Good grief, man. That trigger press honestly might have screwed me up more than the recoil even did, because it's so long and heavy that I think I pulled him a little bit to the right while I was pulling that heavy double action trigger. So let's check out the group. All right, so we got 5 right here on the right-hand side, and then 1 over here on the left. Surprisingly, none of them are down here by the wiener. That's where I was expecting to get most of the shots because of the recoil. I thought I would flinch and drive the gun down. But like I said, that heavy double action trigger, that's probably why I just pulled it a little bit to the right. But a couple of these are definitely good hits. This one is definitely a good hit as well. And none of them are super low. I wouldn't consider these 3 over here the best, but definitely these 3 are effective if you ask me. So let's try the 10mm. By the way, the revolver took 5.07 seconds to get those 6 shots off, and that was as fast as I could shoot and still comfortably see the target while pressing that long, heavy double action trigger. So it was under 1 second per round, but definitely not as fast as I wanted it to be. All right, now we're gonna do the 10mm, and I actually only put 6 rounds in this magazine as well because I wanna see how fast I can get this 6 off compared to the 6 from the 44 Magnum. So after this, maybe we'll do a full magazine and see how fast that is. But full disclaimer, I definitely have more experience with Glocks and semi-automatic pistols, and if I practice with the revolver more, I'm sure I could get, you know, much faster time. But I might not even do much better with this, I don't know, but let's see. All right, so that was 1.82 seconds, so quite a bit faster than I did with the revolver. I honestly could have slowed him down maybe a little bit, but I wanted to, you know, pretend that that was a self-defense situation, and I'm just trying to get off those rounds as fast as I can on the bad guy. So let's see how bad the group is. Oh man, I missed one. I didn't even notice that. All right, so that one right there went over his left shoulder. So that ain't good. But as you can see, all the rest of the 10mm are much closer to the center of the target. I wouldn't say they're in a tighter group. I mean, they definitely are, especially if you count the 44 Magnum that went over there. But the 44 Magnum was actually in a pretty tight group over here. It was just way off to the side. Whereas the 10mm, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be up there. So all of my 10mm are in 8 or 9, and I even have 1 really close to the bullseye there. But of course I did miss 1. So technically I only got 5 shots on the bad guy with the 10mm, and I got all 6 with the 44 Magnum. So again, I probably could have slowed it down just a little bit because the time with the 10mm was like 4 times faster than the 44 Magnum. All right, now I got a full magazine in the 10mm, which in my opinion, this is the biggest advantage of the semi-autos over the revolvers. You get like 3 times the capacity. So let's see how fast we can empty it on our paper bad guy. Look at that, 4.78 seconds to empty the full magazine out of the 10mm. That's faster than I got 6 shots out of the revolver. Again, I'm not a revolver expert, I'll be the first one to admit that, but that is pretty impressive. Let's check it out. So you might have noticed that I started out kind of slow and then got faster as I went through the magazine. After the first few rounds, I really got a hold of the recoil and I could see my sights just falling right back into place. So I just kind of started banging them in there pretty quick, and you can see that group. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive for how fast I was shooting that target. And this is 7 to 10 yards away. You can see my tripods and stuff back there. Not super close, not super far. I guess a pretty good distance for self-defense, but it's a lot of rounds in a short amount of time. So I just started this and forgot to hit record, but I have one more shot timer experiment to try, and we're gonna do shot transitions. So this time we have an evil gang of 2 liters that are trying to kill us. All right, once again, starting with the revolver and double action. I think I'm a little too close. I'm soaked. All right, I took my time a little bit more on those. I had 6 rounds in the gun, but I only had to use 3, and we got 4.83 seconds to take out those 3 evil 2 liters. So not too bad, and I don't care who you are, this gun kicks like a mule. It's not the revolver, it's the recoil of the 44 Magnum that's making it hard to get quick follow-up shots. So let's see how we do with the 10mm. All right, I only put 6 rounds in the 10mm, so if I can't hit them in 6, then I guess they killed me. Much quicker, 2.42 seconds for the 10mm. So again, You can see the recoil of that 44 Magnum is really slowing me down. So when it comes to like real scientific ballistics testing, pumpkins are as good as it gets. I should honestly be charging you guys for this information right now. But the pumpkin that's in the front, I actually went to roll it down the hill and it kept going and rolled down the next hill and smacked right into a tree. So it's pretty well broke up already. So I put it in the front and figured if it explodes, who really cares? But we're gonna start with the 44 Magnum. I wanna hit these with both guns. I doubt we'll be able to do that, so I figured we'll start with the 44 since it's more powerful and probably gonna be cooler. And if there's anything left, we'll hit them with a 10mm afterwards. But the round we're gonna hit these with is a pretty powerful one. This is the Hornady 240 grain XTP, I believe. Yes. The Hornady 240 grain XTP. These things are crazy powerful. So put it in single action and see what it does. I was hoping that we would get this bullet to stop in these pumpkins. I have 6 of them up there. I highly doubt it will. Pumpkins aren't really dense, so it'll probably blow straight through them, but I gotta hit the target first. So you might have noticed the recoil there. I was really focusing on that trigger press and not like, you know, clamping down on it like I would if I was shooting it fast. Almost smacked me right in the face. So you guys have no idea how bad I want to find that bullet and see if it expanded, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So here's our first pumpkin. You can see the entrance hole is just massive. That is crazy for an entrance hole. Again, like I said, this one was already pretty broken, but the exit hole right there is super impressive as well. And then there is the entrance hole on our second pumpkin. Exit hole, see they're already getting smaller. Third pumpkin, entrance hole, exit hole, and they stay about the same all the way down to the very last pumpkin. And right there is where that 44 Magnum exited out of our 6th pumpkin. And it obviously hit our backstop here. And like I said, I looked for the bullet, but I couldn't find it, unfortunately. So it's probably embedded several inches into that railroad tie. All right, I rotated the pumpkins. Now we're gonna try the 10mm. So this ammo was actually sent with the gun, so there's no box with it, but it is an Underwood hollow point. So I'm sure it's pretty hot. Let's see. That first pumpkin was smoking. All right, there's the entrance hole on our first pumpkin from the 10mm. Not quite as big as the 44 Magnum, but still pretty impressive. There's the exit hole on the first pumpkin and the entrance hole on the second. Man, that's a pretty nasty one too. And then there's our exit hole on the second pumpkin. Smaller entrance hole on the third. It looks like it's kind of going downward a little bit. There's the exit hole. Okay, they're getting smaller now, so I'm just gonna see if I can. So it went into the 5th one right there. It doesn't look like it came out of the 5th pumpkin. If there's a bullet in there, we're gonna have to find it. Unfortunately, I don't feel like getting covered in pumpkin before I leave, but we just might have to. So like an idiot, instead of doing this precisely, I just took the pumpkin and threw it up against a cinder block and it exploded. So I spent like 30 minutes looking for a bullet in the leaves, but I found it. So here is our 10mm Underwood hollow point, fully expanded. Pumpkin residue and all, but there it is. That's pretty cool. All right, y'all, before we go, I have one more experiment that I want to try with the 10mm. So if you follow the channel, you know the long history that I have with this bulletproof glass down here, and I've made several videos on it. Basically, it's not bulletproof against rifles, but it is against pistols. And even the 44 Magnum didn't even come close to getting through that glass. But today, I might have the round to finally do it. So this is the Underwood Extreme Penetrator 10mm. I tried the 9mm Extreme Penetrator and it came super close. It was like hanging out the back. So I think the 10mm might be the one to do it. Let's see. All right, I'm going straight for the middle. There is a spot right down there in the middle. I'm gonna try to hit it. Wish me luck. Just so you know, my prediction is yes. And the guy who sent me the gun from Turtle Lake Tactical told me that it would go through this glass like a knife through hot butter. So let's take a look at it. Here is our impact right there. You can see not a lot of collateral damage. Like a lot of these other ones, dump all their energy into the glass. And these are shotgun slugs here, but even some of the other pistol rounds just do a little bit more collateral damage when they dump their energy. Now that is an interesting mark. I haven't seen anything like that before. And I think I see something on the back of that railroad tie there. So it might be kind of hard for you guys to see with the glare, but that is an exit hole on the back of our bulletproof glass. And right here is the hole in the railroad tie, and I can see the bullet in there. That is so cool. You can see the bullet stuck about half an inch into that railroad tie. So we finally made it through our bulletproof glass with a pistol round. Now, one thing I want to say, these extreme penetrators, I would not recommend using them for self-defense against humans. Now, if you're out in the woods and you need something for like bear protection, maybe, but I've tested the 9mm extreme penetrators in ballistic shell, and they go through two 20% 16-inch ballistic shell blocks. So that is way too much penetration for self-defense, but for stuff like this, they're perfect. And we finally made it through our bulletproof glass. Yes. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. This has been a long day and a long video for me to make. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. In my opinion, the 10mm is just a superior option. Obviously, the capacity is a humongous advantage, and there's not too many living animals on Earth that I wouldn't feel comfortable with using a 10mm for defense. A 44 Magnum is obviously great, more powerful probably, but the capacity and the recoil of the 44 Magnum, to me, make the 10mm a better choice. Now, there are better revolvers for 44 Magnum than the one that I have. I realize that thing kicks like a mule, but they all kick pretty hard, and the 10mm is really not that bad considering how much power and energy you get on the target. So it's just my opinion. I kind of knew the answer to the question before I even started the video because I love Glocks and I like semi-automatic pistols, and I'm a huge fan of that much capacity. But let me know in the comments how you guys feel. If you agree or disagree, I would be glad to hear why. If you like the video, as always, let me know down below and hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.